Okay, so I moved everything in here. You see, I did change one input in here because it didn't look good with my original renders. And I forgot, apparently with the original thing, we forgot to merge in our smoke buff. So this is the smoke buff for my original. You can see it's a little bit super blocky, but that's fine. But apart from that, it's almost the same. I changed the colors a little bit here and there, but so we just go through it. You see, it already looks actually pretty good. So from here on out, there's of course a lot of extra stuff that we can probably do. So let's just go through the whole thing. So here at the end, I mean, we have some stuff going on. So the embers already look pretty good. So one thing we probably want to do is we want to sort of introduce a little bit of depth blur. So let's grab our original render. I'm just going to grab it from here. I want to grab my Z, so it's going to be this one. And so again, this will also be in your in your AOVs. If you rendered out a Z depth, then it should be in there. So you can extract this information from this with a color correct or a brightness contrast. And let's just plug it in there. And let's use a vari blur. And vari blur can get, so it's essentially what it does, it sort of just blurs the whole thing. But you could put a second input. And I think we need to put it to Luma. I'm just gonna check. Let me just put up the contrasts a lot, so you can sort of see. Yeah, so you can see now we get super blurred background, which is probably a little bit too much. So it actually already looks pretty good without even doing that much extra stuff. So I spent a lot of time on the composite and now I get something that looks almost the same as my original composite that I just ended up keep adding stuff to it. So generally when you just do something over, oftentimes it will just end up as good or even better. Anyway, so let's have a look through the thing. And of course, with all this stuff, you kind of need to probably animate these parameters. So how you can do that is if you right click on the parameter, you can say animate. You can go to a different channel and a different place and you can sort of key it. So then you can see there are keys here. I'm not going to do that on that thing. And then you could go to your timeline. You need to find your node that you're using here and then you can use it to offset stuff. I'm going to set the keyframe for that. Just have a look. Because we probably want to animate in the depth blur around the end. We don't necessarily want it to be super blurry before that. So let's just go through our sequence. So this shockwave is probably, it's that one, it's probably a little bit too intense. So let's say let's turn it down and let's blur it out. So a blur. So actually it already actually looks better than I thought it would after only so little tweaks. Let's maybe increase these embers a little bit. So I probably don't really want any blur over here. Just gonna really turn it down in the beginning. Okay, let's do a color correct. Good, like color up the thing a bit over there. Let's just play. Okay, so I mean, there's a couple of extra things we need to do. We need to add some glows and there's some extra particles in my scene as well. And there's chromatic aberration and such. But before we do that, maybe it's a good idea to let's remove this color correct. To do another sort of save in between, like after this thing that we did here. So let's say that we're happy with this composite so far. I mean, just yeah, just like keep tweaking on it. You can probably like yeah, keep working on it to make it better. There's like a whole bunch of stuff that I mean could probably improve, but it's the same with the Houdini scene. I mean, you can just keep playing with it, and that's a nice thing with compositing anyway. It's like pretty easy to just keep doing stuff. Like you like add some glows, or probably not in the depth. But let's first just do an intermediate save for this one. Let's go to that thing. Let's call this full comp or something. I like don't really know what name I should call it, but let's call it full comp EPSR, something like that. Right, let's just save that out again. And then we can continue comping on that intermediate thing. So what we need to do, we need to first disable this saver. So with Control P, you can disable it, else it will first render this and then this one, which can be useful if you want to do the entire tree in one go. But we only want to render this one out. So let's have that one. And let's just start render. And I'm going to be back when this whole thing finishes rendering.